since you mentioned it, let's talk about that for a second. Because I, as a content creator, also get the bulk of my hate through my own.
I don't know what I'm gonna have to say. Like, you know what? If anyone, please just like take this section and put it on social media and like amplify it. Dear Muslim TikTok.
It's the Immigrant Unfiltered podcast with Hamza Ali.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have Sania Khiljee. Did I
That's
get that right?
You did?
I did. Okay. We have Sania as a guest. Well, I know her as Sania's family, honestly, and I think we're going to get into that in a little bit. But thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's back in my old hometown. So.
Back in your old town, Sugarland. Yeah, we did talk about that a little bit before we started the podcast. And it's interesting to see how people move around. Well, you moved around, I think, for a reason. And then somehow now, I don't think you can move away from, from where you moved. Just because of the situation you got going on at home. But yeah, so you're, a Houston-based TikToker, I would say. But prior to that, of course, you're an entrepreneur. I would say you're somewhat of a philanthropist because you're giving back to the community in ways that I'm sure a lot of people know. And recently you went through, a lot of changes in your life. And I've been following you on social media for quite some time now. And I've seen that you share things that people generally don't share about. And I wanted to talk about that a little bit.
I do. I'm trying to learn how to be a little bit more filtered because my family's like, Sania, come on, man. You really didn't have to go that far. But I think it is very powerful. Like, I would say, like, sometimes I look at my own social media accounts or myself as a person and I'm like, why do people even follow me? Like, I feel like in so many ways I'm so average. But I think the one thing is that, like, for some reason, I just truly don't care what others think. And that was both a blessing and a curse when it came to social media, because I do talk about things, especially that, like, I really haven't heard in the Pakistani and Indian community.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's something that really drew us to you, is that, you are a little unfiltered. And we like that. And, we definitely want to get into that and discuss that. Now, of course, first question I always like to ask all my guests is, who is Sania? So if you had to draw an image, paint a portrait, sing a song, write a verse, whatever it was, who is Sania?
Well, I mean, if we want to go like the religious route, just, a servant of God, that is one of the changes that has really impacted me very recently, is just becoming so much more closer to God and so much more devout. And so I would just really humble myself and say that's really all I am. But beyond that, Sania's family is really showcasing my day-to-day life as a wife, a mother, a daughter, and a sister. And doing that in the filter and in the context of someone who's been diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. So the irony of my life is all I talk about is my relationships when I have a diagnosis that makes relationships extremely difficult.
So let's go back on religion for a second. So you said, more recently into religion. And so what was that like? What was that journey like for you? And what caused it to become that?
So maybe I should have shared this a little more openly online, but I feel like I've always been religious, but outwardly, maybe not so much that people might think. But I mean, as a child, I was very devout, like never missed a prayer as a kid. And I actually wore hijab in college as well. I went through something really traumatic with an engagement that broke off, and it was just like a really difficult time in my life. And I decided to stop wearing hijab at that time just because I needed to kind of regather and regroup myself. When I met my husband, and I do talk about this on social media, he wasn't very religious, extremely, extremely handsome though, so I gave him a pass. And I brought up the idea to him, like, hey, I kind of want to start wearing the hijab again soon. And, even being the husband of someone who wears a hijab, it comes with a lot of responsibility. And he wasn't ready for that at that time. But last October, we went through a very difficult time in our marriage personally. It kind of came out of nowhere. So I don't like to pull like the evil eye Nazar card, but it really went from like great to like really, really bad in like a very strange way. And so both of us separated for like 3 or 4 weeks. And, that's the first time that had ever happened where it got to that point.
And how long were you guys married at that point?
7 years. Yeah. So we separated for about, I think, 2-3 weeks actually. And it was just in that time, something cracked open in my husband, and this man who had never really been religious really, truly, and honestly found God in that time, which is, if I look back at that time now, I'm grateful for it, because ironically, last Ramadan, I had cried all of last Ramadan and asked Allah to bring my husband closer to him. And then this situation happened. And then now in this Ramadan, he is my inspiration. He does not miss a prayer. He spends his nights studying Islam deeper. And for me, that was the catalyst to go deeper into my faith. And so now, again, started wearing a hijab, recently applied to Alama programs, and I'm hoping to use my platform to make people, not just Muslims, but all people, more spiritually connected with the Creator.
So prior to us, starting this conversation, we had a conversation around how, your extended family's here, and, your channel is surrounded, around your family, and you discuss your daily life. What is different with you from your family? Because obviously you're different. You have something that is very, unique, and you're a content creator. And that's a journey in itself, and that takes a lot out of a person. And I don't think people realize how much pressure and how much effort you have to put into just making those 30-second videos, right? So what's different?
Well, first off, your channels are phenomenal too. So I want to commend how well you've done as a content creator. My sister is also a creator. So my sister runs Happily Mads on Instagram and Mads Dinani on TikTok. So I think as sisters, we share a lot. But the one thing that makes me different from my family truly is, like, I really don't care what others say. And you will never find me trying to buy like the nicest house or the nicest car to try and impress someone. You will never see me trying to dress a certain way to impress people. I am like, if someone is like, oh, where'd you get that dress from? I'll be like, oh my God, let me tell you, I got it for $12 here. Like, very just unfiltered. And I think also having borderline personality disorder impacted me a lot, because I'm extremely creative. And I do come from a creative background as well. Like, my dad is a phenomenal artist, which a lot of people don't know about him. So we do have a little bit of that, but I would say I'm the most creative in my family, and I have to do some creative work. Otherwise, I can't sustain my soul. So for me, I opted out of making like millions of dollars working in the family business to choosing something that is going to bring me sufficiently less income, but that nourishes my soul and my heart. And so I think that would be, again, one of the biggest differences.
So let's talk about that. Family business, millions of dollars, left all of that to find some type of fulfillment. How did you at any point work with your family?
Oh yeah, for 10 years.
And what was that journey like?
Straight out of college, so I'm the eldest daughter. So if I'm telling you the journey of this, I have to take it all the way back to college and high school days, me doing my homework on the kitchen counter, and every night my dad afterwards would just he would go up to the fridge and he would just hang out, and he would just start making small talk, and we would just start talking about dreams and businesses and ideas, and we would just talk for hours and hours. I'm pretty sure he's not allowed to say he has a favorite, but I am very connected with my dad. We are very similar. And so that was really the start for me. And I went to school. I went to University of Houston for marketing and sales and entrepreneurship. So I graduated and went straight into literally having from business school into managing about, I think it was like 120, 130 people. And that was, a little bit of a rough adjustment for anybody, learning how to start up a fully brand new business and managing people and gaining the respect of your employees when really the role had been given to you versus, we hear about nepo babies. That was me. I am a nepo baby. So in that sense, that was a rough adjustment. But my favorite part about my family business was working with my parents every day. I'm such a loser. I'm in my 30s. I love seeing them. I can't stop seeing them. I am literally at their house nonstop. They can't get rid of me. I bought a house 5 minutes away, obsessed with my parents. So may God give them a long life. But that was my favorite part of the family business. My least favorite part being, again, just entrepreneurship can be very creative, but it wasn't creative enough for me.
It wasn't the right outlet.
It wasn't. I am, like, at my heart and soul, a storyteller and a writer. And so I didn't get a chance to do that. In business, you always have to worry about, oh, what are people going to say? What are people going to think? You have to present yourself a certain way. But the most authentic version of Sania is completely unfiltered. And so now I get to do something where I can talk about myself and be myself and not worry about what my customers think.
Who are your customers today?
Nowadays, it's just major corporations that I sell ads to, and I create content for them. And, of course, making money through views as well on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of the above. I am on every platform. And I'm very blessed that I didn't just blow up on one platform, but I've truly and honestly honed my craft so that all of my platforms are either close to 100K, if not exceeding at this point. So it is something that I've been working on. I started content creation literally 7 years ago, and I've been studying social media and algorithms and marketing in depth since.
And what are you seeing as far as algorithms? Because I feel like they change every single day.
You can never get comfortable on social media. It's like the minute you get comfortable, something changes. So right now we're seeing a few things. Instagram and Facebook are about to stop their creator fund, and they're about to charge for verification, and also when you get that verification, you'll also be purchasing increased exposure. It's becoming more pay to play. So I think Meta is in a lot of trouble in that regard. I think that's a really, really rough move. There's been talks again about the TikTok ban. I really hope that it doesn't go through, but there is, that those talks have resurfaced over information and privacy issues. So we'll just sit back and never say never. We'll just have to see what happens. YouTube, I think, remains the most consistent. And for me is where I am personally putting most of my energy in this year.
And as far as revenue, are you seeing YouTube being number one in revenue, or is it TikTok or?
TikTok's my largest platform, so I think I'm close to about like 650 or something on there. So TikTok for me is my highest earning platform. But what surprises people is remarkably Facebook was second for me, which is so funny because a lot of people are like, wait, people still use Facebook? And I was like, actually, they do. And so for me, Facebook was number 2 up until recently. Now that they're going to stop their creator fund, we'll see what happens. And then I would say number 3 is Instagram. Actually, no. Number 3 is YouTube because YouTube just started its shorts revenue program. Things are changing. You're right. Things are changing so fast. So YouTube now is allowing you to monetize shorts. So I'm on there hitting that hard. So YouTube's number 3 for me and Instagram's number 4 for me right now.
I feel like YouTube Shorts, revenue-wise, is a gimmick. Like, I think we made, the first month they launched the Shorts thing, we made like 19 cents. But the fact that they could say that, hey, here you are, here's revenue from Shorts, had a lot of creators jumping from now TikTok and focusing on YouTube. And I feel like because of this whole TikTok ban, the thing that you just mentioned, a lot of creators are actually putting a lot of energy into YouTube, and we're seeing that, just like you said.
Well, YouTube does pay pretty well. I will say it takes time. YouTube's one of those platforms where it's like, I think the first year didn't get anywhere. Then I started to take it a little bit more seriously, didn't get anywhere. Then I found a mentor who made me tweak literally just one thing, which is just my titles. And after that, it blew up. I went from in December, I had 3,000 subscribers. We're in March now, and I'm about to hit 50,000. And so for me, I would say I've hit that traction point where the money's gotten a little bit better, but also it's your long form. With your long form content, you can earn pretty well as well. And I know that once you become big enough, YouTube is sufficient to really live a phenomenal, fantastic lifestyle in terms of earnings. But, again, everything is changing so rapidly. How long is even short video forms going to be trending? Right now, I know since COVID happened, short videos have really skyrocketed. Podcasts are kind of the next wave. There's a new wave of YouTube podcasts that are going to be taking off soon. So that I know is where a lot of creators are putting their energy as well. But, it's to be seen. I think at the basis of every content is one thing, which is telling a story or providing something of value. And so that's never going to change.
Yeah, I agree. I think you become the brand, and that's what people are invested in, right? They just want to see you, and they want to see what you're up to, and so it's literally something that I think is irreplaceable as a brand. But as far as content and algorithms and the youth, what I'm noticing now is that my kids, for example, I have my son is 12 and my daughter is 11. They're on TikTok, and they're so used to the swipe, they just keep swiping and keep swiping. I asked my son the other day, I'm like, hey, do you have Instagram? He's like, what's that?
Oh my God. And Be Real. I know
Yeah.
that a lot of little kids are using that as well too. I tried to use it, but then I started wearing hijab and I was like, man, I am not going to scramble in 1 minute to put this hijab on and get a Be Real. Like, no, this is not the platform for me.
TikTok has that too, right?
Yeah, TikTok now, same problem for me.
3
I'm
minutes.
Like, I'm
You have
like,
3 minutes.
I unless I'm wearing a hoodie and can throw it on, you're gonna get the same videos. It was like the same thing every day, which is like I should have been working, but I was playing with animals, and that was literally my like TikTok now every time. But yeah, it's really interesting. It's fun for me to see how quickly platforms change, and what's really interesting is to see like how many people give up in terms of creators. Like they'll hit success on one platform and then when it goes away, they just disappear. And they don't have that tenacity to keep going. So for me, I was on Instagram first and then it died for a little bit. And I literally lost followers for 2 years and I just didn't stop. I just kept going. And then literally, I could have just stopped being a content creator at that point, but literally got on TikTok right after that and blew up. And then
When did you get on TikTok?
right
Was it right at the
COVID,
yeah.
got bored, had a
Yeah,
baby,
yeah.
made some fun, cute videos with her. And actually, I didn't even start off as a family creator. You'll find this interesting. My roots were as a entrepreneurship and personal development creator. That's the content I started with.
Complete opposite than what you do now.
Now it's like, what brings Sania joy? That's literally, and it's about my family and it's about my animals and it's about my day to day. And it's like the opposite of everything I had once preached. I was always like, pick a niche, go all in. Now I'm like, do whatever you want. And it worked somehow.
Yeah, and that if that's what brings you joy, that's what you should be doing because that's what you're most passionate about, and you'll continue all the way doing that.
Yeah, I was talking to my husband about this just 2 or 3 days ago. He was asking me, he's like, because he's a software engineer, and he was like, if I had like unlimited money, would I still be doing software engineering? No, probably not. And I was like, if I had all the money in the world, I would still be doing what I'm doing because it's not a job for me. It's so much fun. I would hopefully never stop. There was a moment that I questioned my intentions, especially as you get closer to like religion and you start looking into it. And how do I use my platform in a way that can serve others, be good and serve me not only in this life, but the next one. And so for me, I have been refining my intentions a little bit, but I feel pretty confident about continuing till the day I die, hopefully.
Yeah, inshallah. So let's talk a little bit about your journey with TikTok, of course, and your journey with content creation when you really ramped it up. But before that, you had mentioned that you had a business, and prior to that, you were doing business development, and of course, at that time, you were an entrepreneur. And I don't know if I didn't know that until I talked to you before this podcast. So walk us through that journey. How did that life, Sania the entrepreneur, come to be?
So again, nepo baby roots. It is what it is. At least I own it. So, again, sitting at the kitchen counter with my dad, learning about business every day, stepping into the family business, which was preschool franchises. So at that point, I opened my own location and ran that for a few years, and it did really well. And then my dad went over and partnered with Kids Are Kids China to become not a franchisee, but the franchisor. So now you have all of these potential Chinese franchisees that were coming to see our location, which was like the showcase location, and I was training them and basically setting them up for the sale of the franchise. So that was like a really, really interesting experience. And then as I was there, got the idea. So as I was in early childhood education, I got the idea to do a subscription box. So my first e-commerce business was then this business I did with my husband and not my parents. And so my husband and I created a subscription box for baby brain development. So from 0 to 3, we'll send you educational materials that will help you to engage with your baby in a way that will help their brain develop. And so I did that. We were very close to 1,000 subscribers when my spine really started to begin like deteriorate. I was working nonstop. I was a newlywed at that point. I was working literally weekends, nights.
So hold on, you're telling me your spine deteriorated because of the physical work that you were doing?
I was always hunched over working on my phone. I was always working, and I just wouldn't stop. I did not stop. I hit myself to a point of physical burnout. So I herniated 2 discs in my spine, and that's when you started to really see the borderline personality disorder really start to resurface as well. So mental and physical depletion. And so I actually ended up selling that business because I was like, look, no amount of money or success or name. And it was actually a really interesting time because I got featured in Forbes and Entrepreneur and Inc., Huffington Post, like things were blowing up. My social media started growing. My business was taking off, whatever. You start to realize that nothing matters when it comes at the cost of your health. So the great irony is any profit I made was going straight into doctor's appointments to try and fix my body. And so I got to that point where I was like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sell this business. And, immediately after that, after I sold that, I was like, what am I going to do? And I just started to like go back into content creation a little bit and just start to enjoy that. And I vowed that if I ever started another business, it would be one that I was passionate about and one that I could take a break from if medically necessary. And that is one thing that I am truly so grateful for social media for. If I ever have to just be like, you know what, I need a couple hours off, or I need a day off, or I need a week off, whatever. It's a very flexible business model. It's not like I have like millions and millions of dollars on the line if I don't I can take a break. And for me, it has been truly a joy to create a business model that I am passionate about, that I can take a break from, and one that supports my physical and mental health as well as supporting the health of others.
Yeah, absolutely. The platform is, I would say, in important ways, a way to give back. And I think a lot of people realize that, and a lot of people don't. It is just the way people, I guess, look at the phone and look at the platform and the creator, right? Now, in your case, entrepreneur life ended. Your content creation came into presence, and at that time, I think was the time really to get into the platform. I think there weren't enough creators, and there was just not enough content being made. So you go in at that point and you are creating content that is more entrepreneurial, and then that journey kind of shifted, and you're like, you know what, I just want to be unfiltered.
That in itself was it unfolded very naturally. So I was on Instagram starting like 2013, 14, the golden era. It was so easy to grow, thousands and thousands of followers a day. It was fantastic. And I was basically, inspired by just self-development and entrepreneurship, which was my entire life at that point. And I was running a business, and I was constantly around entrepreneurs, and even on my Facebook, on my social media, all I saw were entrepreneurs all the time. And I started to associate, when you get into those circles, I'm sure you are very familiar with this, it can become a very almost toxic hustle culture. Wake up at 5 a.m., sleep is for the weak, hustle, grind till you die, like your self-worth is like actually your net worth. Like it's just a lot. There was a lot, and I pushed myself too far trying to like prove something that no one needed me to prove, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so then I had a baby right before the pandemic hits, which motherhood is the most transformative experience that any woman can go through. Like physically, spiritually, emotionally, everything changes the minute you become pregnant. And so for me, it's like, okay, I sold a business, I had a baby, I was in this like soul searching place. And then, okay, the pandemic hits. All right, life was telling me to take a pause. And I just started to share like a few more personal stories, and they were still self-development related on TikTok. But my first viral TikTok was about like my failed engagement and sharing some stories of my past, and 1.4, 1.5 million views. And literally when the followers came in like water, like I have never seen my phone blow up like that before. As someone who is a marketing enthusiast and a storyteller, just intuitively, you follow, so I started sharing more stories that were more self-development related. And then, of course, I had a really cute baby and I wanted to show her off, and she's adorable. And so I started sharing some of that. And then, it was just a very unique experience in the sense that she's the only baby on both sides of the family. Well, everyone was like literally fighting each other to hold her and to love on her, and to who's going to pick her up from school and who's going to break her out of school and who's going to take her for ice cream. Just started sharing those cute and funny moments, and it blew up. And so I think 0 to 500 was 500,000 was a very fast journey. 500,000 to 1 million has been a slower road for me, but I'm trying not to get into the vanity metrics and just diversify is where I'm at right now, purifying my intentions with social media and just keep going. I'm hitting a little bit of a slowdown. That's when creators get demotivated, when they're not seeing that growth that they really, really want. That's fine. I'm here forever. I'm in no rush, so I'm just enjoying it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And as I guess the social media platforms get more crowded, it just becomes a little more difficult. And then of course there's these growth spurts that happen as you go more viral. A really interesting question that I think a lot of people would have here is, did you get any pushback on posting about your new baby? Because I know culturally that's something that people tend to avoid.
So I actually never posted when I was pregnant at all. Like, I was just kind of like surprised I have a kid one day, like 3 or 4 months after she was born. There was a little bit of pushback when she was born for safety reasons and things of that sort. There was also like, you don't want her to get sick or anything because people have evil intentions. I do pray over her a lot and things of that sort, and installed extra security around my home, talked to her school about just making sure that nobody picks up unless it's me or my husband, and those types of conversation. But for me now, one thing you may be noticing, especially for my followers, is that it's become a little bit less centric around Lily and a little bit about the entire family. That's actually been very thoughtfully designed, because Lily may get to the point one day where she's only 3 right now, but she might get to the point one day where she doesn't want to be on camera, and that's fine. I will never push her to do something that she doesn't want to do. She loves being an influencer, by the way. She like loves taking selfies, and if I take a picture without her, she actually gets offended. But she actually gets to go to like toy conferences and stuff, and she just gets like so much free stuff. So she's not really unhappy with it. She's loving her little baby influencer life.
But you want to give her that option that
Yes.
if she decided not to do it, it's not like, centered around her.
Yeah, that's why I haven't really started like a page just for her yet. If one day she wants to do that, great. Sounds good. Let's do it. But I'm going to wait for her to make that decision. In the meantime, I'm going to just keep showing you my entire family, because I don't want it to be pressure of her seeing a camera in front of her face all the time. Now, even when I don't post her, I'm always taking pictures of her, so I need to like just chill out. She's just so cute. But like, we keep it pretty balanced in terms of like how much she's like exposed to the camera and how much we're filming her. My husband is very shy though. So every time I try to film him, people think he like hates me and like doesn't want to be married to me. And I'm like, no, he just is very camera shy. So he's never going to be the one to do dumb TikTok trends with me or funny videos, but I still get some sweet moments of him.
So speaking about funny trends and dumb TikTok videos, I actually am the complete opposite. So I started my TikTok journey because I saw this guy, Gary Vee, in
The
2020 when I
goat.
had when I had sold my business, and he was like, "You guys need to get on TikTok." And at that time, he was promoting TikTok a lot, and I actually thought he was invested in TikTok because of the amount of promotion he was doing. Turns out he wasn't. So I started dancing and doing skits on TikTok because I had just sold my business, I had nothing to do, and and so I got to, I want to say like 25,000 followers by dancing and doing funny skits. And then I was like, hold on, wait a minute. I can, I can probably like educate people and monetize on this, like, TikTok trend. And then I started talking about business. And then I niched down and niched down. And now I only talk about one thing. But it's just funny how that journey kind of evolves and becomes what it is today. And with you, I think you're right. It's very balanced. We get to see your entire family, which is awesome. But more importantly, your family is not just human. So you
That took me a second. I'm like, wait, what are you trying to say? And then I was like, oh, wait, I understand.
so you have a lot going on, and there's very interesting characters in your journey, and there's ups and downs that come with those
Yeah.
characters as well. So let's talk about that a little bit. How did that come to be?
So, pandemic hit. I was turning 30. I was going through like I'm going to call it my midlife crisis because I don't intend to live very long. I don't eat the healthiest. So anyway, I was like, I want a pet monkey for my birthday. And I like pulled over on the side of the road and I was like on like this site and I was like kind of like just starting to drive and I was looking for a pet monkey originally and I saw this miniature horse named Alfie for sale. Well, actually I named him Alfie. It wasn't his name. And I pulled over on the side of the road and I bought it.
Like right there.
Right there.
Like Amazon?
No, I just like put my deposit down on
Okay.
this. It's called Janda's Exotic.
Got it.
So anyway, I was like, and I called my husband and I'm like, guess what? I just bought. He's like, what? And I was like, I just bought a miniature horse. And this is the first time I had pulled the stunt. So it was still new to him. And he's like, what did you just do? I'm like, yeah, I just bought a miniature horse.
What is a miniature horse?
It's exactly that. It's like, it was like the size of a dog when we first bought him. He was like a little horse. And then he grew to like the size of a pony. But anyway, we lived in Memorial at the time, which is not the place to have a horse. There's like a teeny tiny backyard. So anyway, I was like, oh, I'm going to keep him in the stables. It'll be all right. And so I don't think that much. I just, yeah.
There's doers and there's thinkers.
Yeah, I should probably do a little more thinking in my
Well,
future.
sometimes the thinkers get in, they don't do because they overthink everything.
My husband's a thinker. I'm the doer. Somewhere in the middle, we have a life.
It's a combination.
So anyway, brought this miniature horse home. I was like, oh, the miniature horse needs a friend. So then I brought a pygmy goat home.
Okay.
And then my husband's like, so what happened to the stables? I was like, no, the big horses are going to pick on him. I can't take him there. And he's like, huh? And I'm like, we need to buy a house. He's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, it's going to be a great idea. So anyway, we impulsively buy a house.
What? You buy a house because you have two pets that you don't want to put somewhere else.
Yeah. Can you see? My poor husband, God bless him. Yes, that's exactly what happened. And so we buy this beautiful home that's literally in a forest. It's so pretty. And yeah, so now we're in a bigger home. Now, anyway, then Alfie develops attitude issues and starts biting me. Get frustrated with him. Oh, and then one day I'm skipping a chapter. Then one day I impulsively find a kangaroo for sale. And I'm like, hell yes, I have room. And so I come home with the kangaroo and my husband's like, you're taking it too far now. And he was like, you got to take the kangaroo back. And I'm like, I refuse.
Can you domesticate a kangaroo?
It was already, it was like born and raised, in Texas. And female kangaroos are just FYI, female kangaroos are like the sweetest animals in the whole world. God bless her. I can finally talk about her without crying because, and I'll share what happened. No, I think I'm going to cry. So anyway, I got the kangaroo and she's just like the sweetest animal in the world. Anyway, the horse picks on me. The horse picks on my daughter. The horse picks on the kangaroo. The horse picks on the goat. He was a big time bully. He was like super sweet when I first got him. But as he got older, he was just like had super attitude issues. And so I was like, listen, you need to go somewhere to someone who can like actually like train you. And so one of our family friends, he has a farm, Muslim family, really, really nice guy. He offers to adopt Alfie and take him off to live in it with a lot of ponies and ostriches and fun animals, and he's thriving there. So Alfie actually lives like 30 minutes away now. We rehome him. Things were going great. I had my 2 Maine Coon cats, I had my goat, and I had my kangaroo.
When did the Maine Coon cats happen? We missed that part.
Yeah, sorry. The Maine Coon cats have been with me since I got married.
Got it.
So they've been there for a minute. So anyway, we were living really happily. About a month ago, I went to New York for Fashion Week. Come home, and I was thinking, should I go kiss my animals first, or do I go take a shower? I was really tired. I decided to opt to take a shower instead. As I'm in the shower, the neighbor's pit bull breaks the fence. I'm gonna try not to cry, and gets Jojo, my kangaroo, and I didn't see it. My husband called my parents to come distract me, and I was so confused because they were literally acting a fool trying to distract me, and my husband buried her, and he comes inside and he just holds me and he's like, I have to tell you something and it's gonna hurt, so I just need you to be prepared. And I was very scared at that point. And he's like, a pit bull got in our yard, and I instantly said, and Jojo, and he goes, she's not, she's gone. So I'm still grieving that.
So what happens to the pit bull in this case?
So in that case, I did not demand that the dog be euthanized, only because
pit bulls are vicious.
Yeah, so I told them, look, you need to remove the dog, and you're in charge. Like, you can decide if you're going to euthanize your dog. I can't tell you to. I can't force it. However, I just want you to be aware that now that this dog has tasted blood, they had a baby at their house, and also I have a child. That dog can't stay here, because that could have been me. Had I gone out instead of taking a shower, I may have been dead. Like, I could have been disfigured. Or maybe I could have saved my kangaroo. I don't know. And I keep playing these what if scenarios. I am grateful to God that my child was protected above everything else. And it sucks because Jojo was literally my best friend. Like, anyone who knows me, I was always outside in my backyard. She was my coworker. We just hung out together all day, every day. And people have asked on social media, are you going to get another kangaroo? And I just don't think I can. I can't replace her. There was something so special in her soul. And anyone who met her can testify to that. She was like, there was something in that specific animal that it was like too pure for this world. So, I just pray that in some form I'm reunited with her. It's been really interesting ever since she passed away. I have these really beautiful birds that are the exact same color as her, just all around my yard. Just so many of them. And whenever I cry and I miss her, they come and sit right next to me. So, subhanAllah, I don't know. But, in my grief, I bought 2 more goats, 2 more rabbits. So I have got 2 baby goats right now and 2 baby rabbits that I literally got in the last 2 weeks, Jack and Jill. And I don't have names for the rabbits right now, but if anyone is watching this, go vote on social media. I have a poll up right now.
Where do they vote?
Just go drop it on my Instagram. Share name ideas. But yeah, so my husband, this is actually a fun story. I don't know if I'm getting too long as I talk about my animals, but I actually hid them in my closet. I hid the rabbits in my closet. It's actually, people on social media have seen this. I have like a panic attack room. So I knew that was like the one place my husband wasn't going to go. And I have these teeny tiny little baby bunnies. And I made like a little rabbit kingdom for them there. And so my husband just didn't know for the first several days that my rabbits were even there. And then eventually, I felt really guilty. And I was like, I'm not the wife that's ever going to cheat. I'm just the wife who's going to hide rabbits in their closet. But I felt guilty enough for doing that. So then I was like, Nosh, I just want to let you know that I have animals in this house. And he's like, what did you bring? He's like, another kangaroo? I'm like, no. And I was like, and he's like, what is it? I'm like, you'll just have to find them. And he just took a deep breath. And he just was like, you know what? I have nothing to say. Anyway, it was my child who ratted me out because then I was like, okay, I'm going to go show her her rabbits. And she was like, bunnies. And so then she was like, Daddy, Mommy got bunnies. He's like, Lily, show me where they are. And Lily's like, look, come, I show you. And she took him to the thing and he walked in. He took one smell of that closet. He's like, Sania, really? Really? We're doing this?
Let them out in the wild.
Yeah, so now we have a garage where my cats live, and then I have another room in the garage which my rabbits live. I have a 6-car garage, and no cars are in there, which is why my car looks filthy outside, by the way. But yes, I have now a toddler, 2 rabbits, 2 cats, 3 goats.
And that's how it's gonna be, or are we like, what's happening there? Let's talk about the 5-year plan.
No more for now.
Okay.
Whenever one dies, then I grieve and I bring one more. But right now, no more. I'm good.
And just to be clear, the goats are not like, you're not growing them to like then, like consume them.
No. I get asked that question a lot. No, these ones are my pet. And actually, I don't even think I can eat goat after raising a baby goat just because they're actually like, people don't realize this, but like baby goats are like little puppies. My
Very
goat
playful.
just like jumps into my lap. He wants to sit in my lap and he just like licks my face. He's so cute. Jack is the cutest animal ever. So they're very cute. And I joke every, Eid al-Adha that it's their time to go. But no, these guys are good.
They're here to stay.
They're here to stay. They're here to just live their best life and headbutt me. Trying to convince my husband for baby number 2. He said, absolutely no. 1 child is enough. Plus, I have you to deal with and all of your animals that you keep bringing home. But we'll see. I keep trying to change his mind. But it takes 2 to make a baby.
It does.
So
It takes 2 to tango for sure.
yes. So we'll see.
So let's talk about your husband here for a bit. How'd you guys meet?
Here in Sugarland, actually, we both went to Austin High School. We were both in the Muslim Student Association. He was I don't remember what he was. I think he was like the treasurer or something. I was the secretary or historian or whatever. I don't even remember our positions. Anyway, had a huge crush on him. Huge crush on my husband. And he was like Mr. getting all the girls in high school and like literally I think all of the MSA female attendance was because we were there for him. Anyway, I didn't say anything. And so one day he called me for something MSA related. And actually, I'm not going to tell that story. Suffice to say, anyway, he started seeing someone else. And astaghfirullah. Just kidding. He started seeing someone, and I was really sad. And actually, my first date with my ex-fiance was a double date with Nosh and my friend. So, interestingly, we ended up married to each other. God forgive us for all the shit we did in high school. We're married now, though. So things worked out the way it was supposed to.
Okay, good. And they ended up working out in the end?
Yeah, I guess so. He hasn't left me yet. And all the animals I keep bringing home, he's put up with it till now. But I really am not going to push it any further. I think we're good with the animals. And yeah, just looking forward to the next chapter of my life with him, which is truly diving more deep into our spirituality as a couple. That's been very beautiful to see where we are this Ramadan compared to last Ramadan is truly like the most beautiful thing, because last Ramadan I was crying and praying and begging for my husband to get closer to faith. And this time, we are knee deep in spiritual texts, trying to cleanse our heart and soul of really just love for this world, and just it's bringing us so much closer.
So I'm just going to mention one thing. You mentioned your husband wasn't religious at all, and then you mentioned all the high school stuff with the MSA stuff that was going on. Now, the reason I bring the...
that was too... we are on Immigrant Unfiltered. So, Mom, I'm sorry. All the times I told you I was going to study, all that stuff... Unfiltered, I was lying. May God forgive me. May God forgive me.
So the reason I bring this up is because I mentor a lot of young children, and a lot of them are, or a lot of young adults, I would say, in high school and in university.
They're all doing the same stuff as I was.
And they're all part of MSAs, and they come to me with hurdles or issues that their parents are not aware of. Obviously, I'm a little younger, so they take to me for whatever reason, and so I'm exposed to like a lot of different things, and I'm confused sometimes.
As your kids get in high school, you're going to get more and more
Well,
scared.
yeah,
You
yes,
still have a little bit of time.
I agree, but initially I used to get very confused and be like, okay, like 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 what is going on? But now, I kind of understand, how the world operates, and kids will be kids.
This shows how much more pure you are. But you came from Dubai. No,
So-
wait, just kidding. Dubai is pretty crazy too.
So Dubai is pretty crazy, but at our time, what was different is we didn't have social media, we didn't have Facebook, we didn't have access to our phones the way we do today. Today, like my kids are 11, 12, 13, they have phones for security reasons. Like I can't trust them to go to school and something not happen. So you have to keep your phone on you, even though it's not allowed. The schools are like, don't bring phones. And we're like, no, take the phone, forget what school says. And so, the world is just a completely different place. Everything is at a, flick of a button or a switch or whatever it is. And, we didn't have that growing up. So I think I was probably the last generation that had that raw, no exposure, like I had exposure, but it was exposure that I had to like go and do, you know what I mean?
Social media started when I was in, like Facebook, Zynga, that started in my high school. So for me, it was interesting because I got a very pure childhood, but you got that in high school. But just like Gary Vee says, social media is not a bad thing. Social media exemplifies who you are. It exemplifies, who you already are. And so, I mean, it can be used as a tool of good, and it can be used as a tool of evil. And never before have we had this much access to knowledge.
Yeah, to information.
And it's truly, what a time to be alive, to connect with people from different. I have made all of my best friends through social media. I've met the most insane people. I've traveled the world and met people because of social media.
This podcast is happening because of social media.
Exactly. And so I am a proponent that it can be used for a lot of good. We shouldn't just, I have some friends that are like, oh my God, it's just such a bad tool. Like it's just such a evil, sinful, like just put it away. We don't want it. And I'm like, you know what? I don't know what's on your FYP. I have bunnies and goats running around. I'm pretty happy with social media. So, I mean, it is what you make of it. And truly, again, like I said, I had to purify my intention. For a long time with social media, I wanted to just be somebody. That was my ego. And it was very self-serving. And the followers and the subscribers, it really feeds what? It feeds the ego. And just recently, I'm learning to really humble myself and say, okay, let's take you out of it. For me, in some form, in some way, I can also see what I'm doing as a modern day dawah. You see this super chill, like funny Muslim family that talks about very real, relatable stuff. And it can show you that we are human just like everyone else because, don't forget, we also grew up in post-911 America. I was a child. I was in 5th grade when that happened. So that being said, for me, I think the representation and also now wearing a hijab on social media can help humanize the religion that I love so dearly and be used for a greater good. To also, for humanitarian efforts, for some modern day dawah, and also for speaking up about certain things like mental health or things in our society, such as relations with in-laws and like the struggles of entrepreneurship and just all these things that people don't talk about.
Yeah, and that's real life.
Yep.
That's real life. So you mentioned something that I am really not aware of because I didn't grow up here, right? And you said, post 9/11 America. And could you elaborate on that? How did that mold or shape your life, if at all?
It definitely shaped everyone's life. I mean, I was in 5th grade when it happened. And of course, we started the war with Afghanistan like shortly after. And it was a little bit of a scary time. There was racism. There was a lot of terrorist jokes. There was a lot of, oh, do you have a bomb in your backpack? There was a lot of distrust. I still remember my neighbor who I would play with. He was a white kid, and he started to make a lot of those jokes after that. Oh, you're a terrorist, blah, blah, blah. And, was on the bus stop with him, so I got to hear a good dose of that. But that really shapes you, because you start to feel scared to even talk about religion, or start to really put the label I am Muslim on yourself, because people start to see you as the other. They didn't know, they didn't understand, they didn't know what jihad actually meant. They were just putting these labels on Muslims, and you get caught in the crossfire. So I remember when I first started to wear hijab, my dad was really not happy, because he just didn't want anything to happen to me. And he was just afraid. It came from a place of fear. Now he's extremely supportive, and that's fine. And my mom wears hijab. She actually started pretty recently as well. And now life is very different. It is very different. Now, for example, when I wore a hijab, I was like, oh, all my non-Muslim followers are just going to leave. I was certain of it. They are the most supportive of my hijab. You know who's not supportive? The actual Muslims on TikTok.
I wanted to get to that. I wanted to get to that after, after you answered this question. But since you mentioned it, let's talk about that for a second. Because I, as a content creator, also get the bulk of my hate through my own.
I don't know what, I'm going to have to say, like, you know what, if anyone, please just like take this section and put it on social media and like amplify it. Dear Muslim TikTok, you are the most toxic piece of the ummah. Why? Why do you just shit on everybody all day long? Like, whether you're a revert or an entrepreneur or just a Muslim content creator, people are constantly just bashing each other in like a holier than thou. Oh, this is not right. That's not right. This is not right. Like, my friend, you are on a music app. It was formerly called Musically. Check your holier than thou status at the door before you open this app. And like, I don't understand that, because I've never been the kind of Muslim who's like, oh my God, look what they're doing. Like, no, man. They might be wearing a miniskirt, but their heart is more pure than yours. And you could be wearing like a full abaya. So like, let's not judge each other on like the superficials. Only God can judge each other's hearts. But I do hope that Muslim TikTok realizes, one, you're silencing people who want to even identify as Muslims on the app. Number two, I have seen multiple reverts in tears on the app because they've been bullied so much. You are pushing new reverts away from Islam who have literally no other community. And that is extremely, extremely toxic. And it's hypocritical. And the hypocrisy is really, more than anything, I'm worried for your soul, because the hypocrisy itself is such a lethal sin. Let's be careful of what we do and say to others. And so I really hope that one thing I can do is to advocate, one, for just a more supportive online Muslim community.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because of course, I'm in real estate. I invest, and there's a lot of different things that go on in the world of real estate that are considered, maybe not religious or whatever. And every time, of course, this is way back when, because I don't actually manage my content anymore. But when I did, every time I would get hate, every time I would go look at that person and their profile or whatever, you would really get to learn a lot about that person just by looking at their profile and who they follow and what they're doing, and and in most cases it would be a baseless claim, or somewhere where they should probably look at improving themselves before commenting on others. Exactly like what you said. Very toxic.
Yeah, it is very toxic. And if we're going to get even further unfiltered, they like to like silence people a lot. So I'm going to just use one example here. I recently made a video following a trend saying that my husband and I waited to have sex until marriage. Oh my God. God forbid a Muslim woman talk about sex. First off, I didn't say anything wrong.
Right.
Like, we were following a trend where a lot of people shared, like, when, and I said, you know what, in a world where I'm hearing a lot of people didn't wait, I just wanted to, and no judgment to those who didn't wait, I wanted to share that we waited, and we were I waited, and we were very happy about that. And that was very, very important for me to like say that and to share that. And I got I think that video is like almost at 5 million views of just people saying, sister, you are going to hell. And I'm like, I've seen male Muslim creators talk about this, that you should wait till you're married, or that they
I've seen religious scholars talk about it.
But God forbid a woman talk about it. You should go read. If you want some comedy tonight, go read my comment section on that video.
I'm gonna go check Zara. We need to check that comment section out. Yeah. We need to attack them all.
It was intense, the amount of hatred. And so I'm actually thinking that one angle of my content is going to be talking about these things that they refuse to let women talk about. Let's talk about our periods more. Let's talk about sex more. This is human things that you guys keep saying, like, are you a 12-year-old boy? We should be allowed to talk about these things.
Of course. I mean, look, if we can talk about them, anybody should be able to talk about them. Not only that, if being unfiltered is truly what brings you joy, then that's what you should do, regardless of what people think.
Yeah, I think that is one area that I might be leaning more into just because it's not talked about. You literally tell Muslim girls, hey, wait till you're married, but you never talk about it. You can't even think about it. Oh God, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden you're supposed to be like a freak when you get married. Like, no, that's not how life works. And I do want to start more open conversations around these subjects because they matter. They do matter. And again, seeing that representation is essential for people. So I'm going to continue to push the boundaries of talking about personal things as well as mental health and relationships and life and just entrepreneurship, every aspect of my life. I'm going to continue to do so transparently. And I've actually just done two things, which is one, created a Facebook group as well as a podcast called Safe Space with Sania Khiljee. This is a private Facebook group where the minute someone leaves hate, they're kicked out of the group. We can talk about our life, our issues. We can talk about our feelings, what we're going through, what questions we have. It's a judgment-free zone. You can post anonymously. It's the only place that I plan on going live. I don't go live on TikTok because they banned me because they thought I was underage, even though I proved several times that I was not. So that I've created this space now to continue to have these important conversations.
So important conversations, of course, I think are key because you brought up something that's, I think, very important, where you're expected to know nothing and then you're supposed to be a freak. And then how does that happen if you know nothing, right? And that's kind of where you need like a safe space. And these are things that matter. They're important.
They do matter. Yeah, so Safe Space with Sania Khiljee is just like it's just like all subjects. It's like whatever you want to talk about, we can talk about there.
And what do people talk to you about? Like, let's say somebody wanted to talk to you. What are general topics that people need safe spaces for?
Without giving, anyone's personal information away, people talk about like their marriages or their dreams, their goals, their financial hardships. They talk about their hardships with their parents or things that they're going through, or their dreams to go, just everyday things, or just their mental health struggles or their struggles to conceive or their struggles during pregnancy. Really just human things. You see a mixture of men and women in there, and it's such a supportive community. I think literally we're almost at 500 members, and I just started it just a few weeks ago. And it's really become one of the most rewarding aspects of my work is to create this place for people. And, I think especially when I was younger, I didn't have anybody to go to talk about hey, I'm experiencing mental health issues. It was oh, you don't talk about it. You just, you don't talk about it.
It's interesting you bring that up. Does that even exist in our cultures? If I were to go, the way I look at it or the way I think about it, if I went to my parents and said, oh, I have mental issues, they'd just tell me to just go to sleep. It'll be fine tomorrow.
Yeah, I got a lot of that in the beginning. My parents were just pray, you're fine, everything's okay, you're overthinking. And then, borderline personality disorder is pretty severe. It was actually, even rated the #1 most difficult disorder to live with. Just to give you guys a little bit of insight, it can go from happy, the happiest person you've ever met, to literally suicidal in a few hours. And it's scary because it's you get in such a bad place, and I wish I could be as unfiltered as I wanted, because one time I showed a footage of what my house looked like after a panic attack. And instantly I had to remove it because as a mom, people are well, we're going to call CPS on you if you show the fact that you threw a watermelon on the ground because you were having a panic attack. I'm my kid wasn't even at home, but okay. So in that sense, that's the only place I'll be a little bit filtered now, because you don't mess with my kid. My kid is my everything, my heart and soul. But I wish people could see what it's like to live with a serious mental illness, not a moderate, but a serious one. And my family eventually recognized that we cannot keep denying that this is a very real issue and one that has a cure. which I recently found through the DBT Center of Houston, dialectical behavior therapy. And if we continue to say it's not real, it's not going to help anything. By acknowledging it's real, we can get the help and the resources that we need to resolve this. And for me to even get the correct diagnosis that I have today was a journey in itself of like 15 years, because people don't talk about BPD. So how are you supposed to know you have it?
Especially immigrants.
And also, even within the mental health community, BPD is stigmatized. It's labeled as like you're the villain, because you can go from like being someone's best friend to literally hating their guts in just like the span of a few minutes. It's really hard to explain. And everyone's BPD is a little different, but my BPD, that's how it goes. It's like you go from 0 to 100 real fast. There's no gray area. There's no in between. Everything you feel is just so extreme. And so even like, I remember I brought it up with my psychiatrist. I was like, hey, I think I might have borderline personality disorder based off of my research. And he's like, oh no, don't worry. You're not that crazy. And that will never leave me, because I realized later on, like, that was so invalidating. And that was just
And this is a professional.
This was a ridiculous. And then a friend who I had at that time, you know who you are, was actually a licensed psychiatrist. And she, as soon as I told her I had this diagnosis, she just like went quiet, and she's like, that's a tough one. And she just nods her head. And then started to like cut me out, and like all the friends I'd introduced her was like hanging out with them, cut me out, all of that good stuff, all that fun community stuff. But anyway, after I called her out on it, she actually went on social media and said, hey, just so you guys know, Sania is absolutely crazy. She talks about mental health all the time. She has this diagnosis, like she's crazy. And for me, that was like really, really a slap in the face for a licensed psychiatrist to use your disorder against you to justify their bullying. And so that's a rant for another time, but there is a lot of stigma against mental health to this day, not only within our community, but even within the mental health community. So a lot of my work online is designed to really normalize that conversation, provide resources, provide support for people, showcase my journey, what worked, what didn't work.
So what's working in your case and what's not working?
Yeah, so DBT therapy was one of the most life-changing things I've ever done. I did an outpatient program. I actually just finished a 3-month program for that, which was very, very rewarding. It was basically like going to a class every day to learn how to live with BPD. It was fantastic. It was so many tools that I have now that I wouldn't have had. And for so long, I resisted it. I was like, I'm not a psycho. I'm not going to go do this. And then I did it. And I'm like, that was fantastic. Every person, whether you're neurotypical or not, could like benefit from that. Number 2, medication has helped. However, medication also comes with a series of side effects. So I'm dealing with insomnia right now and teeth grinding as a result of the medication. But as for my BPD, it's helped tremendously. So a combination of medication, DBT therapy, and meditation and prayer have been absolutely life-changing for me. A lot of people with BPD cannot even be married. Like they can't sustain friendships or jobs. A lot of people can. There's a huge
It's a spectrum.
variety
It's
of
a
us.
range.
There's a huge spectrum of us, but I can confidently say without all these resources plus the support of my family, the support of a phenomenal husband, my husband is so patient with this and a true testament of how deeply he loves, because it is truly one of the most difficult things in the world to be married to someone with borderline personality disorder that can go from worshiping you one second to like literally wanting to leave you the next. It's hard. It's a roller coaster. And we didn't understand why this was happening to us. I was like, I love you so much and you love me so much. So why are we having so many problems? And I didn't realize it until I got the diagnosis. And I was like, now everything makes sense. And not just like me learning, but one thing that's absolutely changed my life is my husband learning more about my mental health issues and my family learning as much as they can. Because in learning, when I'm having an episode, they can remind me, hey, remember we learned about this? This will help you. And even when I'm in not a state to help myself, they can help me. And so that's been really, really, really beneficial for me.
And how's your family handling it?
It's hard when you love someone who has a mental illness that's a long term. It is very difficult. They know that my heart is so pure. But sometimes my words and my actions, it's like when you're dealing with a toddler, but in an adult's body. Like your emotions, you're throwing this tantrum. Like, what is going on? This doesn't fit the situation. What is going on? I'm definitely the most needy child. Like all of my siblings, like I'm like a baby still with my parents. Like I need their love. I talk to them about everything. I see them all the time. Sometimes they're like, you're the oldest, but you act like the baby of the family. And I'm like, I know, I wish I could be like the exemplary older sister that most people are, the stereotypical, but that's just not me. It's hard. They've seen me through a lot. They've worried about whether or not, I was going to stay alive at a certain point. They've had to worry about that. They've had to worry about if one day my husband's going to wake up and say, hey, I can't do this anymore. They've had to worry about if my kid's going to get taken away from me because my husband decides to leave me because I'm not healthy. These are all things that they've had to worry about, which is hard to see your daughter go through. But again, with the support of every single member of my family, including my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law, and especially my husband, I'm living a really beautiful life. And yeah, I mean, life would be like much easier if I wasn't ill, but maybe I was put through this test for a reason. And I have to hold faith onto that. And by talking about my struggles on social media with mental health, it helps me cope with the fact that I even have it.
Yeah, I think you're breaking a lot of barriers by talking about things that really nobody else is talking about, right? Like you mentioned, you were in a bad place with your husband, which is now good. You were diagnosed with, BPD, and then how your family initially, maybe even refused to recognize it, but then at a later point were like, okay, we need to like really deal with this. And now you have this beautiful journey, you have this beautiful life, you have this beautiful following. And you're going through continued education, you said, more towards religion to use on your platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like a happily ever after. I'm not going to lie. Living with BPD is like a daily struggle. It is, some days are great. Some days are like, how do I make it to tomorrow? But I'm learning. I'm learning how to manage it, and I'm learning to be grateful. And, at the end of the day, I can still zoom out, and I have the most beautiful life. I really do. And this illness is not going to take that away from me.
Yeah, absolutely. That's determination right there.
Yeah.
And, you take it one day at a time, and, inshallah, it'll get you to wherever you need to go. So, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to follow up on. The fact that you said this is a daily struggle really, really speaks volumes and really takes a lot of determination to get over.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about it last night, and I was like, for me to be happy takes so much hard work. You tell someone that I work so hard to be happy every day. I have read books on happiness. I've taken courses on happiness. I have, done everything, yoga, meditation, whatever, follow your passion. I have had everything. And still happiness can be so difficult. And it's okay. It's okay if you feel that way. And one thing that was very interesting as I get deeper into religion, someone told me, look at how many times the word happiness is mentioned in the Quran versus peace. And this life is not even really meant to be a place of happiness. This life is meant to be a test. But the best we can do is try to find some peace within it and pray for peace in the eternal peace in the hereafter. And so, just holding on to that, okay, and a lot of things about me, I wouldn't even be me if I didn't have this disorder. And there's a lot that I do love about myself. There's a lot that, the way that I am so unfiltered, maybe that's a side effect of the illness. Like it's really hard to there have been rooms that I've walked into where people have given me such dirty looks and talked so much shit. Okay, they've talked so much, to be on TikTok, to be on social media, especially as a Muslim, especially as a Desi, you get so much crap talked about you, it's not even funny. And to have armor against that, just being like, I don't care. That's probably coming from that BPD.
So let's talk about that. A lot of hate in rooms that you walk in because you're a content creator versus being an engineer, lawyer, doctor. What is the stigma there?
It's not the stigma of being a content creator. It's just the fact that like people will like just with your content. I mean, what are you going to hate on? This man is teaching you how to invest. Like literally, why are you mad? And people will just find whatever reason to put others down. I've gotten hate for literally everything. Like there are some as soon as a video goes viral, I know not to check my comment section after that, because that's when you get some really intense, like, oh my God, I posted like my brother loves my kid. Very wholesome, right? One of my most viral videos, 30 million views, is my brother came to hang out with my daughter. So he went to go pick her up from school, and he went and he called me like, he told me right then and there, hey, I'm gonna go take her home. And he just like bust her out of preschool. So many people were like, he's a predator. He's a predator. He's a predator. How did you let him stay with your kid like that? And I'm like, bro, just because your family is disgusting doesn't mean that mine is, okay? Like this is just an uncle that like truly is obsessed with his niece. And by the way, what you didn't see is his wife was right outside in the car with him. And they took Lily for ice cream, him and his wife. So like chill out. People are crazy.
And I feel like there's no cultural awareness maybe around how tight-knit immigrant families generally are.
I think it's beautiful how tight-knit immigrant families are. And it was just so strange for people to see how much my sister and my husband, like there have been people who were like, oh, he's the real father. I'm like, that is literally, I mean, my video is going viral right now and people are like literally like, oh, he must be the real dad. She just knows. And I'm like, that's freaking disgusting. But like also like people will find anything to hate on. Like what are you going to hate on with a little kid being loved by her family? They will find, oh, she's going to be so spoiled. She's going to act like the world revolves around her. I mean, it's partly true. She partly does act like that, but okay. But, you know, and like I said, if I ever talk about religion, it's the Muslims that come at me. If I talk about like, oh my God, on so many of my videos, if I ever post a cute video with my husband, I hope he leaves you. When are you guys going to get a divorce? Oh my God, like there's so much hate. Like, what is wrong with people? And it's enough to break a lot of people down. And a lot of people have left social media as a result. They can't, it's too much. And I don't know, something about me is broken, I think. I guess I really don't care. I just think it's so funny. Like someone the other day was like, oh my God, you're so ugly. And that's why you need these filters. I'm like, bro, not everyone can wake up beautiful. You know, like I'll joke back at them because it doesn't get to me. So the only time I've ever been shook is when people have ever accused me of not being a good mom. That has happened to a lot of mom talk creators, a lot of mom creators. Oh, we're going to call CPS on you, like for anything and everything, like literally anything. That's the only time I've ever been like scared. Like that's the only threat you can make that makes me like pause in my tracks for a second. Because I know if there's one good thing in this life, I'm a good mom. And so that's, again, the only hate comments that have ever gotten to me.
How far does the hate go? Is it just the comments?
I've been feeling it in real life, actually, too. I went to a party the other day, and these guys were standing behind me and, like, loudly kept talking about how much they hate content creators who share their whole life. And at first, I thought they were just literally talking, but then they kept talking about it and, like, louder and louder. And I was like, okay, I understand. I'm still going to take a picture of my food before I eat it. Yeah. So, you know, I do get, I have lost a lot of friends over it. Actually, when I first blew up on TikTok, all of my immediate friends were talking trash. All of my immediate friends, like the ones I referenced that were doctors and stuff. And they all stopped talking to me after that. So that was a very jarring experience. Because, like, you think your friends would be happy for you, but a lot of times they actually aren't. And so I'm sure you have experienced that with your own growth, coming here, coming to America, being so wildly successful beyond what most people can ever imagine. You know, you have a beautiful family of your own. I'm sure you get a lot of people where the jealousy consumes them and they cannot, and it makes me sad for them more than anything else.
So it's funny you say that, because for me, most of my friends today are actually from back home. And we have a WhatsApp group, and they're either from high school or from university. And those are the people that are my like immediate friends. Mm-hmm. And the interesting part is a lot of them are immigrating. So as they come here, we've built like a small, almost like a support system within ourselves.
Amazing.
I find it actually very difficult to make friends here.
That's very your experience is very rare.
Right.
It's what a blessing that is, because a lot of entrepreneurs discuss when they make it, when they finally. I know my dad saw a lot of this. When you start to make it, a lot of people are just will make you feel small. But if you have those friends that have been genuine your entire life, hold on to them close, and
Yeah, I mean,
it speaks
I'm
to your
obviously a
character
little
too.
older maybe than you are, so we go back quite a bit, uh, and uh, and it's just very interesting to see that dynamic. Every time someone comes here, we all group together. We go visit them or they come visit us. I have friends who've actually stayed over at my house here in Sugarland because they just moved to the U.S. They're looking for something or an opportunity or starting a business or whatever it is. And so we get to spend time. And the funny thing is, me and my wife went to the same high school. Well,
But
middle
you were better
school,
than I was.
high school, and then university. And then we started dating in university. We're not going to get into that. And then we got eventually married. So believe it or not, like my family doesn't know a life without my wife now because we've been together for so long. We've been together for like 20 years now.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
May God protect your marriage, your family, but it's beautiful when you can preserve those relationships. And I do have some friends all the way from like when I was younger, and from middle school, from high school, every period of my life, from college. My best friends are from college, and the ones now. But along the way, I have lost several people as well too. And I'm not trying to, play the card.
Did you cut them out or were they like just not there for you?
I think in post TikTok, like when I started getting bigger, it was just that they were talking so poorly about me when I wasn't there. And one time I was actually just in the other room and they thought I had gone hiking with the boys. We were all on vacation and they were just talking nonstop about me. And they actually don't know that I know this, but that's when I was like, I can't do this anymore. And so I did cut them off. But, not to paint myself in a beautiful light, because I own when I'm wrong too. Being friends with someone with borderline personality disorder can also be very difficult because we are very sensitive. A person I can't have a friend who talks poorly about me when I'm not there. Otherwise, I don't feel safe around you. Maybe another person, a healthier person, could have been like just addressed it and been like, "Hey, this hurt when you did this, blah blah blah." I couldn't. I reacted very, very fiercely, and so as an adult now, right now I have like really fantastic friends. I have to say I am in the best place I've ever been in my life with friends. And I think I only look for one thing, which is, do you make me feel safe? I don't care what race you are, what religion you are, even what age you are. Do you make me feel safe? That's it. And can I make you feel safe? And that's been the basis of all my relationships now. And it's been really great.
I think the world's come to a point where, or at least I feel like for you, maybe it's come to a point where as long as they're like, transparent, well-wishing, open-hearted, that's kind of what you're looking for, which is, I think, what anybody would be looking for in a friend.
Yeah, or just some people that I can just be very real with. Like creating my safe space offline. So it's been great. I've met a lot of my friends through social media. I'm the kind of person where people will DM me, be like, "Hey, we'd love to meet you. We just moved to Houston." And I'm like, "Great, come through." And just like you, I do welcome a lot of people. I love this city. I truly do. I was born and raised in Houston. I love this city. And so I love showing people around. I love getting people like really, really situated here, because a lot of times all it takes is just meeting the right few people, and then it starts feeling like home. And so I do that as well.
And how's your husband with that? Is he an introvert? Is he an extrovert? What is that combination like with you guys?
So in high school, he was like really popular, and I always assumed he was an extrovert. And then when we got together, he told me he was an introvert, and I didn't believe him for the longest time. But my husband is, and this is actually the quality that I love most about my husband, he is the best friend a person could ever in their life have. And just last week, this is also going to make me cry. He went to his friend's grave and just prayed for him, one of his best friends. And this is not just the friend who's going to be there for you in the good times. Even after you pass away, he will be at your grave and he will be praying for you. And so he doesn't have a lot of friends. He has very few friends. You can count them on one hand. But the friends that he has, he will go to the ends of the world for you.
Yeah.
And it's really the most beautiful thing in the world.
Deepest connections.
Yes, but it sometimes pisses me off because I like want him to meet new people, and he's like, I'm just really comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, look, I can tell you, I probably hear outside of my like core friend circle that came from abroad, probably have a handful of friends that I can sit down and have a conversation with, and it can be like a deep, meaningful conversation. And I think it comes to a point where you're not really looking for anything more in life, as far as friendships. Like you have what you have what you have, and you can have all the conversations in the world and get everything out there with these handful of people. At that point, more people just become sort of like almost like it's not necessary.
Yeah, my husband's friends, a lot of them he's had since high school. I think it's also a male thing. They
Yeah,
get
those were
their-
the times.
My brother, same way. Both my brothers, all the guys I know, actually, they find their friends early and they just keep them their whole life. So he has a really hard time letting new people in. I am extremely extroverted, like the complete. It's funny because my daughter is an introvert, which is so funny to me because it's like I was like, I don't know how to raise you. Like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to raise an introvert. But yeah, I'm at that point now where I'm really I tell my friends, one thing that's been interesting, especially now that I'm in my 30s, is like I tell my friends now how much I love them all the time. All the time. And I deeply do. Like, I really love them. And it's like, it's not like even friends anymore. It's truly like you are the sister that I've chosen, you know? Not the one I was born with, but I chose you. You're my family. And once you get to that point in a lot of your friendships, I mean, nothing compares.
Are you the same person on camera and in real life?
I don't know. You guys tell me.
So the reason I bring that up is because you're saying all these things. They feel so real, you know. They don't feel like you. They don't feel any different than what we see through a lens. Like, for example, in my case, I'm a completely different person on camera than I am in real life, you know. And people sometimes will sit down and talk to me, and they're like, we didn't actually expect you to be like this. But in your case, I feel like there's such a similarity that it's literally the same person.
Yeah, it's I tell people all the time, like I think right when I was outside, someone came up to me and started talking to me that was following me, and there's no difference. In fact, I joke that if you follow me on social media, you know me better than my husband does because he doesn't have social media and he doesn't watch my TikToks. And if you watch my TikToks, you know literally play by play every detail of my life. Back in the day, like when TikTok was taking off, I would post up to like 5 to 6 pieces of content per day on that platform, which now to me feels very insane, but it is why I'm at where I'm at now with it. It literally play by play, you were seeing every aspect of my life. And it was such a creative challenge to take. Like, I never woke up and was like, okay, I have all of this scheduled out. No, literally every day I wake up and I'm like, okay, the story will come. The video will come to me. It's like such a hippie way of making content. But yeah, like people who see me on social media genuinely know everything there is to know about me. So people know if they like me or hate me before they even meet me. And when I go outside, like I have felt people who just like instantly disliked me. That's fine. Or instantly wanted to be my best friend. Great. Like I have received that.
Yeah, anything you do in life, there's a 50-50 chance of, you're going to get the haters, you're going to get the likers. Actually, believe it or not, I think the haters are more important for the algos than the people who actually like you.
I love it when people fight in my comment section. It's like people have gotten into the most detailed debates. Like I literally posted a video once where I made pasta and there was pizza and they said, why would you make pizza and pasta the same night? And I'm like, why not? And there was a long debate. Like literally that video got like, I think almost 1.5 million views as well, where people were just fighting over whether or not pizza and pasta should be placed at a dinner party together.
I mean, why not?
I genuinely, that one still, like, I still don't know. Like, they're both Italian. Like, it's like salt and pepper. What's wrong with you guys?
Yeah, well, I don't get it either. Well, that's probably because I'm an immigrant. Like, I don't actually understand, what that is yet. I need to figure it out. So let's talk about the video that I watched where I found you, okay? And that was a video of a goat. And it was basically your mom telling the goat to move away.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I was like, okay, this is interesting. Like I've never seen anything. And the reason I think I got drawn to it is because in Dubai, I'm used to seeing, or I was at the time used to seeing like animals in homes, like exotic animals, and then that's kind of what drew me or took, drew my attention. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute. This looks like a very Dubai style video. Um, and so let's go into that dynamic. What is it like with your family, with your pet, or I don't know. What do we refer to them as at this point?
I don't know if you've seen have you seen the most recent video where my baby goat jumped on my mom's lap?
No, I haven't seen that
Oh
one.
my God, you're behind. Okay. Oh, I have such good content. So my favorite videos are when my dad loves my goat. He can't stop smiling around my goat because they start play wrestling. They start play fighting.
Like your dad and the goat.
Yeah, my goat just gets on just her legs and she starts boxing my dad. She starts trying to headbutt him and he just puts his hand out and pushes the goat back, and it's so funny. I think that one is at like 17, 18 million right now too. And that video is hilarious. So anyway, I brought home 2 baby goats and my mom just came the other day and she was wanting to meet them, but the baby goat's very friendly and jumped on her lap and she actually almost started crying. She was like, please. And then yeah, it was hilarious. And I have like videos of like back when Jojo was alive, my mom or like my family playing with Jojo, and my daughter got so jealous because she's used to being the baby of the family and she saw this animal in diapers and she thought she got a new sibling. And they were like, why? She was like, why are you not giving me attention? And she would just start crying. And it was so funny. So everyone has like their unique relationship with the animals. I'm definitely the one that loves animals the most in my family. Like nobody else has any pets or ever intends to have any pets. My mom does not like animals. She's terrified to death, which is so funny that I'm her daughter because she tried to teach me to be scared of animals my entire life.
Didn't work.
Didn't work. The programming was just not working. Like I am who I am. My daughter does love animals, but my goats like to headbutt her. And so, she gets a little mad. She tried to potty train them. It didn't work. She got upset about that too.
Your daughter tried to potty train
Yeah,
the
she gets
goats?
really mad when they don't use the potty. And I'm like, it's a goat.
So what's that like? Because they're in the house sometimes.
They're always in the house because they know how to open doors. They can open a door in 3 seconds. So God forbid I've had to put like 3 locks to get in. One of my most viral videos also is everyone was praying like Jamaat style, and the goat entered the house. They said somebody was hungry and they were praying for dinner. So that was a really entertaining video. But my daughter's an only child, and the reason she's an only child is because of my borderline personality disorder. There's days where I'm just not even able to get out of bed, and my husband can't handle 2. He can handle 1, but 2 is very hard when you're also working some intense, have an intense career and a farm to take care of and a wife and also happens to be the better cook in the family. So, I get it. But for me, as someone who's very loving, part of the animals is that, I'm coping with the fact that I only have 1 child, but I have a lot more love to give. And in a way, these are my daughter's siblings. And she actually refers to them, it was really cute. She actually refers to them as her brothers and sisters. She grew up with the kangaroo. They both shared diapers and bottles. Like they both got bottles at the same time. She feeds the goat the bottle now. She calls him brother. It's like really cute. So, I can't give her a sibling, but at least she has no shortage of love in her life.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
So is your mom getting over the fear?
No.
No. Is that something that's in the works?
No. You can't change this lady. She loves baby animals. Like she's okay when they're babies, but the minute they get a little bit bigger, she's like game over for me. Yeah. She only ever loved my kangaroo. And so I'm telling you that animal was too pure for this world. She loved Jojo. She loved her. And actually, I've never seen her cry over an animal other than Jojo. So it was really, yeah.
All right. Well, we're getting close to the end here, and towards the end, I always like to address the future and what that's going to be like. And so, obviously, you have this amazing platform. You're looking at continuing on with some further religious education and pursuing a lot of different things, you and your husband together. What is the next 5 years for you? What can we expect to see?
So I'm 32 right now. And whenever I ask older people what was like the best time of your life, they always tell me their 30s. Always. So for me, the next few years, I just want to just be happy and love every minute of this life that we've created. You know, I'm trying to live in the present. I don't really care about, I have everything and more that I could ever want in my life. Maybe a second kid, we'll see. Other than that, I have everything I could have ever wanted in this lifetime. So I think for me, the next 5 years are just truly just finding a little bit more stability. I heard that with borderline personality disorder and bipolar, after 35, it kind of peaks. So this is the hardest part, and then it starts to get a little bit better. The hormones start to like level out, the chemicals start to level out. So I'm really looking forward to that. But like, I am so aware of the fact that I'm not going to have my parents forever. A lot of my friends have lost their parents recently. And like I said, I'm very close to my family. So I just want to enjoy. Every day I wake up, I remind myself, all of your loved ones are alive right now.
Is that something you think about?
Like
your parents?
Do people not think about, like, I think about it every day.
Really?
That like, I'm not going to have forever with them. So every day I literally just wake up and I'm like, all of your loved ones are alive. Whether or not your mental health is good today, it's a good day because all the people that you love are here. And so right now I have everyone alive. I just want to enjoy them. And you're going to see a lot of videos with my family because I want to spend every minute of my life with them.
Well, that's awesome. Look, it was really it was really good to get to know you, Sania. You know, amazing story, amazing journey. I'm looking forward to what you have in store for the future. And you're right. Look, one day at a time. And with that, thank you for coming and taking this, and enlightening me, I guess, on your journey and what life with, your family is like.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me here back in Sugarland, where my roots are. So I appreciate it. And it was also nice meeting you.